It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, we welcome a rising star in the WNBA ranks. She was drafted by the Chicago Sky 5th overall in the 2015 WNBA Draft, where she spent 5 seasons. Her best year in the Windy City came in 2020, where she put up new career-high numbers in scoring, assists, rebounds, and shooting percentage as the Sky made the playoffs.
Biggest lead of the night, and Parker going coast to coast with it. Parker drawing the foul, and a chance at another three-point play.
When Cheyenne is pumped up.
Williams driving out to Parker. Elbow jab, why not? He's 8 for 9 from the floor.
She's also played professionally overseas in China and in Poland. Recently, she signed as a free agent with the Atlanta Dream. Cheyenne Parker joins this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN right now with your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
And welcome to another exciting live stream edition of Listen In with KNN, presented right here on our home station, Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, with me, your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Now, today's show in particular is dedicated to women's basketball fans. I am so excited for today's guest. We're going to talk the latest and greatest happening in basketball. If you're like me, you're watching those great Sweet 16 games that we just had in the NCAA tournament and so much more. And then if you're also like me, you're counting down to the start of a brand new WNBA season. So to help me kick things off today, I am so excited to welcome in today's special guest. She is a WNBA, I'm going to give her the title superstar. She's a businesswoman, a model, basically a woman who can do it all, or you can call her a triple threat. She is none other than Cheyenne Parker, and she's joining me right now on the show live. So without further ado, let me bring her on. Cheyenne, how are you today?
Hi, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to have you, especially since I see you're in commute and transit. Are we allowed to know where you're going, Cheyenne?
Yes, I just landed in North Carolina to visit my mom.
So sweet. Please tell your mom a very happy hello from us here at Listening with KNN.
I will.
Appreciate you joining. I'd like to kick off my show, Cheyenne, with just the wellness check, right? This year has obviously been crazy. Last year, we're still dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. We have people starting to get vaccine shots, but how are you feeling? How are you doing? How's everything been for you?
Everything's been good. I've just been training. Like I'm really excited for season. This is that time when you get really itchy, ready for the season to start. So I've been good though.
I love to hear that. You're talking about a brand new season. It's going to be the 25th season of the WNBA. Like, when you hear that, how does that make you feel to know that you're playing in this league and celebrating 25 years and you're going to be a part of that going into your 7th season?
Just so blessed. So thankful to be a part of such an amazing, powerful history in women's history.
Let's talk about that, because WNBA has continued to grow, I think, tremendously. We're seeing more support of it on social media. So for you, as a baller in the WNBA, what does that mean to you when you get to go on social media and see the hashtag trending, see your name trending? Like, what does that feel like for you to see the continued growth?
It's a really surreal feeling, especially just from starting out. And, you're in high school or middle school, and you just see the difference in like the fans already when you're that young, and girls basketball versus boys. So to see like getting props from players like LeBron James and people like Travis Scott, just shouting out a college basketball player, like to me that's really really pivotal. Like that's showing like, oh, okay, if you actually watch the game, it's actually enjoyable. It's you give it a chance. If you love basketball and you love competition, they know how to compete. Females know how to compete. It's like such a slept on thing, but it's starting to like slowly come to light. I'm excited about that.
Like you said, slowly come to light. And I think me and you can both talk about the growth of basketball. We're both born in the same year, 92. So shout out to all the 92 babies out there. But I mean, just thinking about from when we were kids to it now, I think it's tremendous. We need more supporters. And I love that you touched on this, our NBA stars. Needed their followers and their audiences realize that y'all can ball and hoop, and if I can say sometimes better, Cheyenne, in the male thing. That's what's needed on the next level, making sure our stars like LeBron, NBA stars, or even from other sports.
I agree.
Yeah, so basically keep doing it. LeBron keeps sending out those tweets. And then while we're talking good women's basketball, I know you got to catch the recent games. I don't know if people know this, but according to Zoom, there were over 9,600 posts about the Olympic matchup between UConn and Baylor. Just that game alone, those engagement numbers doubled those of the men's March Madness game that just happened. So talk about the growth of women's basketball. I know I said the same thing, Cheyenne, but that just shows we have the support and the supporters there. And so when you hear that, first off, did you get to catch those women's games? I know you did, Cheyenne.
Yes, I was one of those streamers for sure. It was great. It was great. It was unfortunate though. I felt for Baylor. It was really unfortunate that happened like that. But everything happens for a reason. That's one thing I truly believe. And that Paige, she's a special one, and I think that was her moment. Like that was her moment of leadership and recognition. Like she's gonna be special.
Yeah, Paige Beckers is exciting to watch. Look at that UConn squad. I guess it's always exciting to watch. Let's talk about it because everyone's having this discussion, Chance. I want to hear from you. If you're the referee, you see what happens at the end of the game. Are you calling that foul, or are you just letting them play and just leaving it alone?
Yeah, I'm gonna call it. Yeah, I'm gonna call it. that was a blatant double foul. That was 2 fouls actually. There's no question about it. It was a foul, but refs are refs, and they were doing that the whole game. There was a lot of non-calls, so you can't even, be surprised, honestly. Basketball is like that.
It was tough to watch because you hate to see somebody lose like that, and you don't want it to come down to a non-call. We love competitive basketball games, but you want it to just play out on the basketball courts. I think, we saw UConn prevail, but for Baylor, I don't even know what you tell that team, Cheyenne, as a coach. Like, what do you go into the locker room saying? Like, do you put on the grass and say your team gave it all you got, or you just say, like, this is a lesson learned? We'll be back.
It's not much said, honestly. Like, at least from my experience, when you lose, when that's your last game of the season, there's not much said. It's a whole lot of tears, a whole lot of crying. That situation might have been a little bit sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was very tough, but again, we hope to see that squad back next season. Such a talented squad. You can only root for them.
They'll be back.
You can see what happens with UConn and Arizona. Ari McDonald, and I mean, just the play that they had. What do you think about that game? Just taking them off, right? I mean,
such relentless effort, and I love that they made history. I love that they were the underdogs. I love that.
Yeah, and I feel like an underdog is kind of what you describe yourself as, right? Your basketball career.
That's my favorite. Like, that's me. So I definitely love the underdog for sure.
And let's dig into that. Let's talk about the beginning. So you're from Queens, New York. So shout out to Queens. Talk about just it's not hard to see how you got your love of basketball. Yeah, you get to rep your city on the show. We love to see that on the show. And it's not hard to see how you got into basketball, right? When you think of Queens, I think even New York, basketball is kind of synonymous. Talk specifically about your story. How did you first pick up that basketball, Cheyenne?
Funny story. I grew up with basketball around me always. My 2 brothers played, and I used to just want to do what they were doing. I wanted to be with them and follow them around, and so that's really what made me pick up a basketball.
And looks like you never looked back since. Did you play any other sports growing up?
No, not really. Like basketball, I tried soccer when I was in like 6th grade, and then I tried out, and I realized it wasn't for me. Yeah, it wasn't for me. But basketball has always been like my main sport growing up.
Yeah, and then obviously the basketball carried you to college to play, and so we'll talk about Middle Tennessee State. But before you got there, you were at High Point, right, and playing basketball there and hooping there. So talk about your freshman season there, going from the high school level to the collegiate level. What was that transition like for you?
It was definitely different. I was ready to go home every day in the summer because I had never had to run that much in my life. It was really like, it was testing my strength, like to be able to say, all right, I'm sticking this out. Like I was really ready to go home, you know? And thankfully the type of mother that I have, she wasn't about to let me quit, you know? She definitely just gave me that peace of mind and words of encouragement to, you know, stay on it. And I'm glad I did.
Yeah. I look, and obviously we're very glad you did, because now we get to see you hoop every WNBA season, and kind of as they say, the rest is history. We're already getting questions in from you. I do want to stay with the story you're talking about, but this is a hot topic, so I'm going to read it to you. It's from Donetta Coleman, a good friend of the show. What are your thoughts on Shaq's comments to lower the rim for women? I know this became a very hot topic of controversy. I don't know if you heard. Did you hear about this, Cheyenne?
I absolutely did, because one of my new teammates for Atlanta, Courtney Williams, has a very strong opinion about it. So we actually ended up talking about it, and the thing about it is, my opinion on it is I'm kind of neutral. If they do it, they do it. It doesn't change, to me, it doesn't change the game. But I have been playing on, the higher rim. I've been playing on that rim since I was a little girl. So it would definitely be different if they were to lower the rims. But if they did lower the rims, it would be a lot more entertaining. Like Courtney Williams, you know, I'm going to quote her here. She made a very good point, and I never thought about it this way, but she was just like, if they lowered the rims and allowed us the opportunity to dunk the ball the way the men, you know, dunk the ball and bring that entertainment side, it would bring more fans. That is true. I do agree with that. I think if we were to dunk in games, every game, there's no question we would gain more fans. So I'm always the type, I'm always open-minded to anything. So when Courtney brought that up, she actually sparked her own initiative to try it. And so she's actually throwing a kind of like an all-star game on lower rims. And I'll be there. It's in Atlanta.
The flyer for it, putting it up on the screen.
It was ready. I love it.
We were going to talk about it, so I think this is great. So let's talk about it. So yeah, see, Cheyenne, I come prepared. It's just like a basketball game. You always got to know what plays are called and know the full playbook. But going off of that, you, Courtney Williams, Natasha Cloud, and some other WNBA stars have launched the first annual Women Above the Rim, a three-point shootout and official dunk contest. It will be April 11th in Atlanta. We're so excited about this, but I want you to continue on this because we're talking about dunking. You guys are throwing this event. So what's the appeal? What are you guys saying? Why should people come to this event? And just talking about what women can do on the basketball court.
I think it's a great opportunity to obviously spread the awareness of women's basketball in general, you know, regardless of the rims being lower or not, it's still basketball. So just to get so many people involved and to, you know, get the fans involved and kind of build a community around women's basketball is the ultimate goal. And then it'll also build that awareness for the people who, you know, have their feelings towards it. It'll give them opportunity to see what it'll look like if the rims are lower and we're actually, you know, slamming it. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see how it works. I think it'll be really good. It'll be fun. I'm excited about it.
I'm excited about it. Look, I'm gonna have to book my ticket to Atlanta. You guys have so many of us excited about this event. But I think just staying on that, I want to talk about the other side and play devil's advocate. What would you say to those who say it makes women feel less than, that they have to change the game for people to be entertained by the game, right? Or showing that maybe they don't have the same athleticism as males. What would you say to that side, saying like it's not fair? They say it's Shaq, be quiet. We want to keep the game as is. What would you say to those people that are saying? Because it's a conversation right now we're having on social media.
It is, and you know, speaking as a woman, you know, this is something I've always, you know, this is something that I've always felt. We are women, you know, and I'm not taking anything away from that, but we are the weaker vessel. Like that's just a fact, you know. biology, like when you look at the biology, yes, we can get super strong. Yes, we can get super fast, but we could never, like, for example, me next to LeBron,
Right.
I could never physically out jump him or outrun him. I just couldn't, just because I'm a woman, and that's just, it's okay. Like, we are lesser than in that aspect, but we are great in our lane as women. We are great. Like, we've proven the power, the strength. We've proven what we can do. Like, my favorite commercial is the one that comes on. I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah.
Shows like, and these are just the Black girls. This is definitely empowering the Black women in this commercial, but women in general, just
Right.
women, period. Like, we've shown the power that we have and that we possess. You know what I mean? So, my take on it is, you know, I understand where Shaq is coming from when he said that, and I understand that side of it as well. Like, but I also understand the sensitive side, because I'm calling it sensitive because it is a little sensitive to take it to that extreme and take it as being belittled, which I understand, because we're paid like that. We're paid, you know, it's very disrespectful. It is, you know. But I think if we add more entertainment and add another aspect, you know, I think, you know, it can grow and it can get better.
Yeah. And I think, again, I appreciate you being honest about that. I think since the beginning of time, it feels like there's been questions about women dunking and if that can bring more males and in general more fans to the games. Because let's be honest, I mean, in the NBA, we do love the dunks. We just watched the NBA All-Star. We love the dunk contest. But at the same time, I think it's like it's two-sided, as you said, where one side is saying we shouldn't have to do that for people to be interested in our games.
Right.
If you have a quality product, you can still come and support the games. And again, they're saying, look, basketball is basketball. It's just different vendors playing it at the end of the day.
Still just as competitive. Like,
there you go.
Exactly. That competitiveness, and we might be a little more competitive because we're female. I don't know.
I'm with that. I agree.
We can.
Again, I appreciate you keeping it real on that. We have another question from the fans for you. One from David Loddick Sr., big supporter of the show as well. Wondering, are you tired of being compared to men? I believe women should stand on their own merits.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm tired of, yes, I agree. I am definitely tired of being compared to men. I think we have our own lane and that we can conquer that lane and dominate that lane. But we just need that backing from the men because, you know, it's like, what's that saying? It's a man's world. Like, unfortunately it is, you know, all those owners of these NBA teams, like we need their back. Like we need their backing. We need them, you know, they're the ones with the funds. So I think we need to like try not to fight it, but kind of like come together, if that, like come to some type of togetherness to help the women's league grow. Because honestly, I feel like the league should have 12 other teams. We should have at least 24 teams, you know, like there's so many great players out there that aren't even in the league and able to play just because there's not enough spots. There's only 12, there's 144 spots. And, you know,
yeah, it's competitive. It's hard to get there, like you said, when there's fewer teams, you have less of a crop to choose from. I think that is something real. And you especially, and I know this because you've also played overseas, right, in addition to playing in the WNBA. And I'm also glad that you touched on the pay scale because this is one I think I've been battling since the beginning of time. And so we need to get y'all paid more, what y'all deserve. We have to get more funding in. But I mean, do you think that that day is going to come soon, Cheyenne, or do you think it's going to be a long walk coming?
I mean, I don't know if I'll still be playing. You know, to get the number that I feel like we all should have, you know, and that's at a minimum. To me, I feel like we should all at a minimum be getting at least 1 million, at least.
Yeah.
At least. But I don't know if that's something that's realistic while I'm still playing.
Right.
But I do think that it's coming. And I think I'll be like retired and just looking back like, oh, look at y'all. Yeah.
Nothing that good money, right?
We helped pave the way.
Or maybe you'll be like Renee Montgomery and be on the ownership side.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I've aspired to do. That's why it's so super amazing that she did that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Super dope.
Talk about that because you're going to play for the Atlanta Dream. Right?
Yeah.
What did you think first when you heard that? And then to know that you're going to this Atlanta Dream team with now to have a former player now in the ownership and a woman that looks like us, Cheyenne, with lots of something we don't get to see all the time, right? What did you think?
Oh, super amazing. Renee is, man, she's legendary for that. I was really looking forward to playing with her So I was sad when she announced her retirement, obviously.
No.
But the week later, it was just like, boom. I was like, okay, like, cool, go ahead and retire, do your thing. Like, I'm so ecstatic for her. You know, that's such a big accomplishment and big, just, man, this is just the beginning. You know, she started something by doing that. So it's super exciting. Yeah.
And it's huge. Again, I think and this is why it's like we're sad to see her go, but we know she's on to do bigger and better things. And
right. She really ain't go nowhere.
Exactly. No, but technically she's still there.
Right.
Which is great to see. And I think also just going off of that, I want to talk about that situation that happened, right? So we all saw the sale of the team from co-owner Senator Kelly Loeffler. We saw how kind of messy that got because we saw her thoughts on the Black Lives Matter movement, but we saw the amplification of WNBA voices, of Black women's voices.
Right.
So talk about what that was like playing in the WNBA, say her name movement, right? Remembering Breonna Taylor. Like, talk about that process and now to play for a franchise that changed the narrative, helped to get the senator elected. I mean, talk about making history.
Yeah. Man, the power, like I said, we're so powerful. Especially when we are united.
Right.
So to see, let alone a league, a professional league, but just to see a group of women, and not even just Black women, the entire league.
Right.
You know, I was with Chicago, and we had three white players,
Mm-hmm.
and they locked arms with us too. You know, and they supported us, and they cried with us, and they felt that. You know, it was a very emotional season, and it was a very emotional time, and
right.
The entire league really came together, and I think that was the most powerful part of the entire thing, and that's what made the change, and that shows you that what can be done when you're united, and the power that you can possess is really scary. It's scary to think about in a good way, though.
Yeah, Georgia is a perfect example, and I think we can also Senator Raphael Warnock is a big thank you to you all. I think you guys inspired other leagues and other players to do the same. And you brought up the importance of having our brothers and sisters of other races and ethnicities be part of this. What are those conversations like in the locker room when you're trying to describe what it's like growing up as a Black woman in America and things that you have faced? How are you able to talk to your teammates about that and kind of get them behind the cause and kind of at least getting them to understand somewhat what you've been through? Because I understand they might can't get the full picture. I personally believe there's nothing like lived experience. And even us as Black women, we probably have different experiences living in America. Hey,
that's my brother. Sorry.
Like, no, you're good. Hello. Embarrassed on camera.
Did that on accident. Yeah, it's the conversation. It's emotional. That, to say the least. The ones that I've had with with my teammates, and we've done it together, like, and so it's a lot. It's overwhelming. It's emotional. It's a lot of tears, but it's also so healing. It's like a healing process, especially for the Black ones, for the Black girls, because a lot of us never actually got to say that to a white person and tell them, like, this is how I feel when, people that are your skin color are treating me this way. And it's like, it's hard to take. Like, I could imagine that, so it's emotional on their end. And then it's also emotional on our end, because it's like, but I love you to death. Like, you my sister.
Right.
And I know you got me and I got you, but this stuff has to stop. Like, this hate, this pain, like, it's hurting me. This could be my brother, this could be my uncle. So just having those type of conversations is super emotional, but it's like necessary. It's a part of the healing, I think.
Part of the healing process, I think it is. We have to have these uncomfortable conversations in order to move forward as a nation. And then we talked about the player side. What is it like bringing this up to your coaches in ownership, saying this is what we want to do as a league? This is a statement that we want to make. What was that conversation like for you and your teammates?
Well, the good thing is, at least with my experience, like with Chicago, we had full backing, we had full support. The owner, Michael Alter, he's always been a very big advocate for the minority. Even before everything that happened, and we started taking initiative, he was already taking initiatives. So it was great just to have that type of support and understanding. That's why it was like we all in the league, we all felt for Atlanta. You know,
Right.
we all were trying to get her out of there because we all were just like, you know, like how can you even want to play for someone who has that mindset? You're like, it is, you can't. It's tough. It's tough to play full heartedly for someone who doesn't have your back. You know, so glad she's out of there.
Here, right? And it just shows the change that can happen. And I think this goes back to that hashtag more than just athletes. You guys created change that went beyond the sports field. I think we've always known that can happen. But again, there's power in you all uniting together, which I think is super huge to see. And I'm glad that you're speaking on it. I want to talking about just the power of Black women, Cheyenne. What does it say to play in a league that is majority Black women? What does that mean to you and just the power of Black women in the WNBA?
Man, it's humbling. It's very humbling. To be where I am as a Black woman. You know, that's something that I was asked that during Black History Month. And it's the same answer. Like it's really humbling, and it's really amazing to be a part of the history and to be like in it. Like I'm in it. Like COVID, the deaths, the protests, like I'm in it, you know? So I'm just thankful to be a part of it, and I pray to continue to be a positive impact just on my community and on my peers and my counterparts, and even the hateful ones, because I'm not gonna lie, I had a moment today, and I don't tweet, so I post like my tweet on my story of Instagram, and I just was like, the hate has to stop. Like I keep seeing these crazy hate crimes on the Asian community, and it's like, man, it's just got to stop. The hate all around, like the hate all around to every community, Black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. Like it just has to stop, and you know, change has to come, and it starts within us, and it starts within the community. So I'm gonna continue to be a part of this history. I'm gonna continue to be an advocate and do my part.
And that's huge to say. You're right. The hate has to stop. It's like we just all want to be able to live in a country where we can be respected, not be scared, and embrace our values and differences. I love to go out and see people that aren't like me, and don't look like me fully, and come.
Right. I love going to other countries and trying to learn their language. That's my favorite.
So you're better than me. I sound horrible speaking anything other than English. You're much better than me. I'm sure they laugh at me as soon as I was like, what is this girl talking about? But it's true, and I think that's what's needed. And while we're talking about that, what has it been like for you when you're playing overseas, how you have been embraced? Do you think racism is different in America as compared to where you played? So you played in China.
It's definitely different. Every country has their own past and their own history. The U.S., is built on slavery. You know, that's something that is like an inescapable but unfortunate truth.
Right.
But I never experienced, I've never been called the N-word like I have in America. I've never been spat, looked at and, mean mugged because I was Black.
Right.
I was definitely stared at. I've gotten stares and things like that, but I've never personally experienced things, but I have heard stories. Right. Some of my teammates overseas have told me crazy stories of just experiences that they've had with other countries, like whether it be Poland or Germany. Now Asia, not so much. I just got I stand out. Obviously, I'm 6'4", and in China is literally it's mainly Chinese people. Like you don't see many other cultures at all. It's very rare. So you get the stares, you get the wow, you get people take picture of you, but it's always real, nothing too aggressive or in that negative light. It's just like an amazing
curiosity, right?
Yeah, they're amazed. They're like, wow, really, they're amazed. Like even on the court, when you make a move or something, they the whole crowd makes a noise. If you make a move, they're like, oh.
They're in awe.
I love it. Yeah, I love it though. They're great. I enjoyed Asia. Korea too. I enjoyed both Asian places I played, and I've built sisterhoods with my teammates, and that's the reason why when I seen some of these videos and things, I personalize that too. Just like I personalize seeing a Black man being beaten, I personalize seeing an old Black an old Chinese Philippine woman being beaten. That bothers me.
Wow.
That
So
bothers
much. And it's true. It's us all caring about each other, right? It's not only me looking out for me. It's us caring about just humanity and just in people.
Right.
I'm happy you touched on that. I think also you having that playing experience overseas, I'm sure, has just taught you a lot. Because when you live somewhere else, I've had the experience to live abroad, you learn a lot, right? You learn cultures. And like you said, it's more there, it's a curiosity in you. But one thing I'm curious about, when you play overseas, and I've heard this a lot from women's basketball players, do you think there's more of an appreciation for the women's game abroad? And how do we bring that back to the U.S.? Because it seems like overseas, whether it's basketball, volleyball, or anything else, they respect female athletes. Those stands will be packed, right? They're rooting for you all. That's
I think part of it is they love sports over there. So I don't know if maybe it's just because it's sports, so they back it more.
Right.
I mean, I do know there's still that disconnect there as well. You know, when you look at the men's league of any other country versus the women's league, it's definitely still a disconnect. The women are still underpaid, and things like that. That's something that's unfortunately universal. But as far as the fan base and having a lot of fans and a lot of love, like they definitely have more, and I think we're getting there. You know, we're growing into that. Just the more TV we get, the more TV we get, I think the better it's going to be as far as gaining that fan base.
Exposure, right? Exposure.
Yeah, we need exposure. Yeah. Even not even just TV, but also just social media, like brands. Like the more endorsements us ladies can get, I think the better. You know, they just need to keep seeing our faces out there.
It's true. I know one of my favorite experiences has been going to the Vegas airport and just seeing the Las Vegas stuff everywhere. I think we do so well there.
Vegas is lit.
They do it right. I'm like, this
They
is everywhere, because as soon as you step off the plane, it's like it's in your face. And if you're a little child, you're going to get used to seeing that. So it won't be abnormal to see females playing basketball. It won't be abnormal to see them, to watch it. So I think Las Vegas, keep up the great work. I hope all cities try the WNBA teams. And I'm like you, I want to see the league continue to grow. We need more teams. I can name a lot of cities that we like to see them in, but it's
Me
just
too.
continue to grow. I'm curious, what's your top city that you like to see a WNBA team?
My top city would be probably Charlotte, only because my mom is here and I have a lot of people here. I think it would thrive. North Carolina is a basketball state. Yeah. My brother actually put that in my head. He gave me that idea. Charlotte and also Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto, Canada, I think would be dope. Miami.
Miami would be nice. Everybody would want to go down there, of course.
Yes, that would be nice for everybody.
Everybody would be down there for the games in Miami.
Right.
I'm going to go back to another question from the fans. You have a lot of questions, Cheyenne. People want to ask you stuff, which is great. Do you feel like the influential male athletes should advocate for female athletes to get paid more? So do we not only need them saying they're watching the games, but do we need them to say, look, these ladies can ball, they play their hearts out every night, they sacrifice blood, sweat, and tears, and they deserve to get paid top of the dollar, just like their male counterparts?
Yes. I absolutely do. And that's the thing. Like with me, I'm realistic enough to know we don't have to get paid like our counterparts, because they're insanely paid. Like the numbers really hurt your feelings. Like it make you feel a little bad, especially when but even just better than now. Like it should be much better. Like I said, like it should be much better than it is. So yes, I think it would help a lot if the men backed us. Like I had said this before. You can quote me. I think if the men really came together and donated, and I know they never would, but I'm just saying that because of how much money they're making, it could be done. If they wanted to, they could pay the entire league what we deserve.
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of money being made in the NBA. It's just
a lot of money. Yeah. So it's something that definitely could help. I do agree. It would help a lot.
Yeah, again, just the continued growth of the game. And I think we put it out there. Any NBA players that are listening, no one, tell them.
Let's hope. Just so you know, my mom lives in the country. We're headed down this really country road, so the connection may be a little fizzly. Just a heads up.
No, thank you for letting me know again. Live show, so we have her for now. If we lose her, I'm sorry, but I'm going to get as much as I can from her overall. You know, we've touched on Chicago, but I really want to go there. You were obviously drafted by the number 5 overall, the 2015 WNBA Draft. Talks about just their importance to you. Chicago took a chance on you. You know, it meant so much to years playing with the Chicago Sky, and then now just what you want people to know about your Chicago. So I know it was tough for you having to leave that team that you loved, but now you're starting to embarrass. So just having the Chicago Sky to you taking a chance to see your growth, right? You're starting out your business now, coming off your best WNBA season.
Okay. I think I know what you're asking me. Yes. So I was with Chicago since I was drafted.
Right.
You know, that was my home. 6 seasons with them. Sisterhood. It was hard. It was a really hard decision. But it was still a decision that had to be made. You know, on the business tip, I had to make that decision. Atlanta is a really, really great fit for me for so many reasons. You know, I'm closer to family. My dad actually lives in Georgia, so I'm very happy to be closer to him because he's getting older. And family is, you know, number one in my life. Like that's very important to me. So to be close to my family is great. And then it's a very great business opportunity. Like, you know, as you know, I have the Born Queen Boutique, but that's just the beginning of the business things that I'm trying to get into. I really interested in entrepreneurship on a lot of different aspects, and Atlanta is a great opportunity just for Black-owned businesses, let alone new businesses, new small businesses. So on the business side, it was also really big decision. And then obviously the team is great. Like, we got a team full of athletes. We got a team full of players that I really am excited to play with. Like, we have so much in common just on the underdog mentality, on the hungry mentality, the not gonna take no snap mentality.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are. When we get inside them lines, it's go time. And it doesn't matter. I don't care who you claim to be from. I don't care what team you claim to be rocking. Like, and so that's the mentality that I feel like these players have that we have in common. And I feel like we're going to thrive off of that. And we're going to be that team that's just like upsetting people. Like, wait, they're not supposed to be in the playoffs.
Right, coming out of nowhere.
Who is Atlanta? Who is this? So that's my mindset right now on that.
It's exciting. Look, I'm following the ship. We want the championship in Atlanta. I think you're going to bring all you can there. And I know you have to spend time with mom. I'm never going to take away time with mom, but I want to talk about you as a businesswoman, right? I'm so happy to talk about being the owner of Born Queen Boutique. I just want to make sure people understand. I think this is great. A Black-owned business. So you're, again, more than an athlete. And preparing, I'm sure, for life after basketball. Why was this so near and dear to your heart? I understand you have outfits with catchy slogans like different breed, relentless, I can, and I will watch. Talk about those slogans and what they mean to you and just why people should support this brand.
So these slogans I've always kind of lived by, things that I pride myself off of. Different breed in my mind means I'm a different breed. Like, you know, I'm not your average Joe. You know, it's gonna take a lot to knock me down, and I'm relentless, so I'm gonna keep coming. That's my favorite word. I love that word. Got that tatted on me. That's how much I love that word. But the overall boutique, I started it because, to me, you know, just the past year with COVID and everything, like, I learned a lot about finances and what it means to create assets for yourself and other streams of income, especially because we're not paid like we should be paid. And COVID made it real bad, like, at least for overseas. You know, it really hit hard for overseas players. So it really showed me, like, okay, this is something that I have to really lock in on. And I launched it while I was overseas in France, just this past year. So I started with these calendars that I published.
Yes, and you sold out, right, of the calendar.
I sold out, yeah. I wasn't expecting. Yeah, the support is real. I'm still selling them digitally just so people can get them. But next year, I'll definitely make sure I have more in stock because I just didn't expect such support, and I'm really excited because this is just the beginning. I'm getting ready to get into some natural health supplements that I'm gonna launch on the website soon, and it's all natural stuff like sea
Nice.
moss, oils, all the things that help build your immune system, which is super important right now for us.
Yes.
So I'm just locked in on entrepreneurship and trying to build this boutique that I just started. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And you're being humble. You also recently walked in a charity event in Chicago, so you're modeling. And I think this is something, again, and we talk about just the power of endorsements, right? And getting brands behind you and being able to market your marketability. Talk about that. Because I think for a long time, it's like, I feel like, people have this perception, Cheyenne, of WNBA athletes, right? And it's like, these are females. And if they want, they can show they're sexy, and they should show they're sexy. So what's it like to be able to model and showcase that other side of yourself?
It's super important to me. I'm passionate about that because I've always been, I used to be a little tomboyish, but I've always had the girliness in me.
Right.
Like I've always had that, and I always wanted to show it. Like in college, my signature was like my colorful lip gloss. I always wear like pink lip gloss or like red lip gloss. And I just always wanted to show like I'm a girl. Like I'm a girly girl. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it mistaken. I'm a whole woman. And I embrace that side because I want other girls to see that. I want other girls to see, oh, she's so pretty, or she has her lip, like I want them to see you can still be a girl and get buckets and be a beast and dominate.
You can do it all.
Right. So that's something that I really take pride in, and I like to show my versatility with that. But I'm also trying to get some endorsements out of that. I finally made my first magazine publication. It'll be published in April, so I'm really excited about that.
Congratulations!
Thank you. So I'm working I'm nonstop. I'm constantly doing photo shoots, trying to just show different sides, wearing different stuff, whether it be swimwear, lingerie, dresses, fashion.
Anything, right? Anything that can happen again. And same on the marketability part and just endorsing with brands. I think it's pretty exciting too that the WNBA just got their first and only auto retailer for the WNBA, CarMax. I don't know if you saw yet, but Sue Bird has helped to bring this partnership to life. Have you seen this yet? What's your thoughts on this?
That's awesome. I think that's going to be great. That's a great start. That's super, just going in the right direction. Liz Cambridge just being the first women's athlete with Savage, that's dope. So things like
they're calling you next, Cheyenne.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But again, it shows the overall growth of the WNBA. And again, I'm going to let you get back to your brother and your mom because I know you're I do want to ask one more thing. Of course, it's Women's History Month. We just finished Black History Month, of course, in February. I want to talk about Dallas Wings head coach Vicki Johnson being the only active Black female head coach in the league, the second ever former WNBA player to coach in the league. How do we get more Black females, more faces that look like ours, coaching a sport that's predominantly females comprised of people that look like us, Cheyenne? What are your thoughts on that?
I think we just need to keep advocating. I think the more we advocate for Black women in that field, I think better. It's gonna take time though, and I think with unity, when we unify, when we continue to advocate for each other and have each other's back, we can definitely get that done. We can get a lot done. For sure.
Stronger together again, just more Black women in every spaces. Continue to amplify the voices of Black women. Cheyenne, it's been such a pleasure to have you on. Before I let you go, and again, before I release you to your family, any last words for the listening audience?
I just appreciate the support, the continued support. I'm gonna continue to, just do my part, be a philanthropist and be an advocate for, just basketball and growing through basketball and letting basketball be the anchor of everything that I do.
I love that, Cheyenne. Again, best wishes to you. You guys are listening to Cheyenne Parker. Make sure you check her out this season with the Atlanta Dream. Check out her boutique and so much more. Follow her on social media. She drops, we'll say thirst traps, but good thirst traps every on Instagram. So follow a woman that could do it all. Cheyenne, thanks again so much for joining the show. Have fun with your family, and again, stay safe.
Thank you, love.
Thanks so much. See you later. All right, everyone. Thanks again so much for tuning into the special live stream edition of Listen In With KNN. I will be back this Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time with special guest Washington football team linebacker Josh Harvey Clemens. You will not want to miss that. I know everyone saw the news. We've got another game added to the National Football League schedule. 17 games. We're going to talk about that and so much more. We'll talk about the NFC East and just bring your questions. Of course, you guys know we always have fun on the show. And then Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be joined by former Denver Bronco, Vance Johnson. So lots of football talk coming up. We're counting down to the NFL draft. We've got pro days and so much more you all will not want to miss it. So again, be sure to keep in touch with Listening with KNN. Also on the audio show this week, I'll be having special guest Tim Schreiber join me from Special Olympics. He is a board of directors. So also make sure you're following the show on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. Lots of great content coming out. And again, truly appreciate your support. I could not do the show without you all. Check out the brand new merchandise shop that we just launched. Lots of cool new items, jackets, hats, sweaters, joggers, and more. And again, thanks again, everyone, for listening on the special Tuesday night edition of Listening with KNN and follow March Madness. I'm sad about my Terps, but I cannot see this year's champion after all the adversity that these teams have had to go through. So see you guys Thursday at 6. Have a great one. Bye, guys.
Follow Kelsey on social media at The Real K Nelson. Catch episodes of Listen In with KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM Fox Sports Radio, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.
You used to hear me on your airwaves or hear me on my hit podcast, but now I'm taking you to the screen. You'll love Elevator Thoughts. We will talk the latest trending in sports. It's game time. What better way to get to know those that visit the show than over some good food and drink? It's time for confessions.